We're here with Brahmanand Siingh, the filmmaker for Quantum Unmixed documentary on R.D. Burman and his music. And I guess we'll start just by having you talk about the film. Tell us about your film, what it's about.
It's a very simply, honestly made film. That's the best that I can say. It's taken me a lot of time, but that's all that I can say unless you ask me a question.
Why R.D. Burman? Why make this film?
It was quite obvious that I was quite troubled by the fact that, in spite of being a very, very important composer, where people, as years go by, people talk on more and more this greater appreciation, increasing appreciation, etc. Why is it that nothing substantial has been done on him? I was troubled by the fact that every birth anniversary, death anniversary of his, which is 27th June and 4th January, there's a sudden influx on television channel, of 5-minute capsule, 2-minute capsule, sometimes 30-minute capsules about his songs, about his life. Everybody talks the same thing. Okay, they catch hold of one person connected with Pancham. They ask him a few sound bites. They put a few visuals, a few songs, and that's it. Okay, so I felt that there is definitely a need for someone quite crazy to take it up, because the simple reason that I found in the process of doing the answer was that nobody has done it, probably simply because it's not very easy. Mm-hmm. It's a huge effort, and that answered me that why is it that somebody who could have made a very lyrical film about Pancham on a personal level has not done, or 4 other people who could have done it or could have commissioned someone to do it has not done. And then while I was in a festival in Karachi about 3 years back, after the award ceremony, the director of the festival brought us home, and he had a Pakistani group singing, and the fellow sang a very high-pitched song, Mujhe Chalte Jana Hai, Musafir Mein Yaaro. And Sudhir was there, awesome. We were there, and it struck me that this is very interesting. I mean, if people in Pakistan and outside India are singing Pancham songs as a huge influence, people need to know about what he did, how he composed. And there's a different charm to an edited art as against, 5 very knowledgeable people doing a concert and giving you the nuances. So I thought, let me take it up and do it. And against all odds, I did it. There were severe highs, severe lows. There were times when I felt that maybe I won't be able to complete it. It was that bad. Right. But I suppose that's a part of any creative process, and what matters is that you've completed it, finished it. What matters still more is that after I had done my best, I'd not had any expectations, and the response seems to be quite phenomenal.
Absolutely. एक चीज जैसे मैं अभी मैं रिपीट कर रहा हूँ, मैं कैमरा के लिए भी रिपीट कर रहा हूँ.
अभी मैं हिंदी में भी बोलूँ कि अंग्रेजी में?
बिल्कुल नहीं.
ओके.
तो मुझे आप मेरे जैसे बात करें ना वैसे.
हाँ ठीक है. ओके डन.
यस सर.
ठीक है.
बट एक चीज़ जो कहनी थी, जैसे मैंने आई वांट टू से फॉर कैमरा के बाल खड़े एंड बिफोर एंटरिंग द बोला यार कौन ब्रह्मानंद, व्हाट विल ही डू. आई मीन आरडी इज टू बिग थिंग के उसको कैप्चर किया जा सके. बट द वे व्हाट वाज इंटरेस्टिंग फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल इज द वे यू हैव कैप्चर्ड हिज ह्यूमन साइड ऑफ इट विदाउट गोइंग टू मच इनटू इट. एट द सेम टाइम यू हैव डन समथिंग व्हिच हल्का सा पता था, बट इट लाइक ब्लू अप इन फ्रंट ऑफ यू के ये चीज़ भी, एंड दैट वाज इनोवेशन विद म्यूजिक. एंड वन ऑफ द एक छोटा सा किस्सा बता रहा हूँ, वो गार्गलिंग कर रही है और दैट इज एक्चुअली द बैकग्राउंड स्कोर फॉर सत्ते पे सत्ता का, जहाँ अमिताभ का नेगेटिव सेकंड डबल है, वो आता है और पीछे बैकग्राउंड एंड यू आर शोइंग दैट गार्गलिंग. वो जो कैप्चर किया ना, वो जो ह्यूमन एंड इनोवेशन फिर आता है, एंड यू से वाओ दिस गाय इज अ जीनियस.
Yes.
वो तो पता ही था, बट अभी मालूम पड़ रहा है. तो
Correct.
इट वाज रियली अमेजिंग. और देन वी वर एक्सपेक्टिंग के और क्या यू नो, इट वाज एक्चुअली यू वर सकिंग अस डीप इनटू the
The
genius we
experience.
know as a nameplate genius, but you opened the door and let us you know inside देखने के लिए, and especially the parting जो parting shots थे सबके, and we discussed this before we started, was not cutting it right when they were about to cry.
Yeah.
I loved that part, and what happened to that was the audience started crying.
Yes. Yeah.
ये बहुत ही आई मीन वाज इट वेरी कॉन्शियस कि आपने पहले बनाया हुआ था, डिज़ाइन किया हुआ था कि ये करना है, कि इट जस्ट हैपेंड बिकॉज इट वाज वेरी पावरफुल दैट जो द लास्ट 10 minutes
Yeah.
are so powerful.
Yes.
And when Shami ji was like shaking his head silently, nice guy, and again starts it is very profound.
But that's what I would feel, that I mean you put in a lot of hard effort and sensitivity. Just effort is not enough. You need to be sensitive to the moment. You need to be sensitive to while shooting, while putting it together, everything. So yes, I had very clear-cut approach in mind that I would explore that the first part of the film will be something that will establish his genius before I go into his larger than life human character.
Right.
Because when you have established a genius, I mean, if you and I or she, if someone tells you that, well, she is a great person, it doesn't ring a bell. But if I see that she is someone who has achieved this and achieved that and achieved this, and this is how she works and lives, and then we also see the human side, which is so simple, which is so relatable, which is so beautiful, you know, so caring, so sensitive, you know. I mean, how often does it happen what you heard Kancha explain? I've had, I mean, that is one episode that I have kept. I've had 15 people at least talk that aspect of his life. 15 people. My only limitation was space. I mean, I could not have made a 5-hour film. Okay, but to put that, I mean, just that one incident where Kancha says that I mean, I was unwell for 6 months,
And he paid for that.
and he would send me money. That sending money was an excuse. This calling it overtime was an excuse. You see, it's also, I mean, he's trying to help people, and he's not trying to sound that as help. Now that is very important, to make the other person comfortable.
Absolutely.
Okay, that is something that I relate with, I have learned, and I see so many other people ready to take that on. That, I mean, you are great does not mean anything. You are great if you are putting others in a position of comfort to be with you. You know, that one moment, that 4 hours that someone is with you, they should be at ease.
The other thing which quite notably came, and so I think that many of us here at PSC didn't know it was. और उसका I will start with what I concluded.
Sure.
That he was a genius with one of the kindest hearts in this world. I won't even say industry.
Yeah.
But the second thing was, because of that dualness in him, दो very important चीजें.
Yeah.
Genius, out of this world genius, and out of this world kind-hearted man. He attracted that gang kind of a thing.
Absolutely.
Which was a genius in itself.
Yes.
You know, Hari Prasad Chaurasia.
Yes.
I never knew that. Never knew Hari Prasad ji worked with him. You know, shit.
Yeah.
I mean,
Not only worked, if you notice, see, first it comes where Louis Banks says that we would notice, and it looks a little comical, you know, that Shivji, I would see Shivji, you know, practicing in a corner, just without sound. It looks a little comical, and right next is Hari Prasad Chaurasia himself saying that हम तो बैठे ही रहते थे वहाँ पे एक कॉर्नर में कि कब मौका मिल जाए. Now who is saying that? A legend by himself. Okay, yes.
So he was surrounded by legends.
So he was surrounded by legends. He got the best out of them. He worked. See, I think it's also important that when you have a great mind, a great sensitivity, a great artistic side, and you are doing work, you end up working with also the best people because they relate with you.
Absolutely, you become a magnet.
You
That's
become a
what
magnet.
That's what
right.
I saw in
That's
that
right.
whole documentary.
Yes.
He was a magnet, attracting two kinds of people who
Yeah.
were like him.
That's
who
right.
were legend, who would be
Absolutely.
future legends in themselves, and who were as standard as he.
Absolutely, yes. Shiv Kumar Sharma has mentioned,
Right.
it's not there in the film, but he has explained it so well that when Piya to se naina lagi re, he said that I had given up playing tabla. He used to play tabla earlier.
I see.
Okay, but he had started concentrating on santoor,
Santoor.
and he was already being considered a maestro. He was doing a lot of international performances, and he said that it was Pancham who got him to play tabla on that song. Pancham was recording that song for his father.
Right.
His father was unwell, as you heard Shami Kapoor say that he recorded many songs around that time. And so he said that no other person on this earth could have made me play tabla anymore because I had given that up. I did not want my reputation as a tabla accompanist. Okay, I mean, a santoor maestro is a far elevated thing than an accompanist. If you're a solo player like Zakir Hussain, it's a different thing. But if you're an accompanist, in terms of, I mean, somehow right or wrong, but the position is very low. So he wouldn't have been very comfortable with that. But it was Pancham's affection, genius, bullying, friendship, whatever you may call it. But all put together his magical charm that made him. And I think what differentiated him was equally much was his background scores. I've shown the Sholay thing there. To catch Samta Prasad ji just because he had a complete control on the baya of the tabla, okay, and to create that sound.
Since we are talking about background music, I want to quickly go into that. Panchamda, it seems, was one of the only people. If today you are going to collect a collection of background scores in Indian cinema, and let's say Bombay cinema,
Yeah.
it's all 99% filled with Pancham. He was the only one concentrating, focusing on background scores as equally as he was doing songs.
Yeah.
Which is amazing.
Yeah.
Which is really
Very true.
amazing.
Very
to
true.
do that.
I think title songs, background scores. I haven't come across another composer who is equally versatile at all these. And that's what I mean. It's the versatility, it's the genius, it's the touch of magic somewhere. And that's not to say that he didn't create bad scores. He did plenty of bad songs. I'm not at all against that. Just like, I mean, I'm a great admirer of William Shakespeare, and I know I've read all his plays, and I know that out of 37 he must have written about 25 which were downright bad plays. But you and I don't remember him and don't value him for the 27 bad plays. We value him for the 10 or 12 outstanding works that exist today, that has existed since generation. And I think at least out of his 2000 songs, a good 400, 500 are absolutely amazing numbers, absolutely outstanding ones. And that's very high strike rate when you talk about an oeuvre that consists of some 2000 songs, 2000 plus songs.
The other thing which really, I have so many things not coming out since you are talking. आप जब बता रहे थे, जब डॉक्यूमेंट्री में आपने एक्सपर्ट्स को लाके, you had Shankar Loy Ehsan, you had so many other people. When they started breaking up his music and explaining the science of it and saying, हम तो ये कभी नहीं कर सकते.
Correct.
Because it's too simple and ये इतनी simplicity कैसे?
See, that's the thing. It's very easy to be difficult, like they say. It's not so easy to be simple. It's not so easy. I mean, the simplicity that you see always, especially in art. I mean, I could refer also to this film that I've tried not to be clever at all. I've tried to keep a very simple structure, a thing that flows. Okay, but to achieve that was not easy. In the sense that, I mean, it was amazingly labored task on my part. But I would labor till I would get that simple connection, one simple connection to move from the the influences to Bengali music.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was so. You know, the transition-
Bengali music to his singing.
Absolutely. You know, when we moved to Bengali music and
Yes,
his tradition,
yes.
we as an audience didn't realize we have moved into a
Yes,
new plane. We have
correct,
taken as a
correct.
the transition was so smooth.
Yes.
करते वहाँ पहुँच गए.
वहाँ पहुँच
अरे,
गए. Correct.
you know, by the time
Yes.
you realize what's happening, you bring us back to his own singing
Own
and
singing, yes.
amazing. That was amazing. Yeah, it was a very finely structured, you know, very simplistic. Of course, it's come from your heart, and I think that shows a lot in the documentary. So,
The idea, the sensitivity has come from my heart. The work is very skilled and structured. That's how I would put. In the sense that, I mean, it's very well thought out. For a very simple thing, it's very well thought out. I mean, there were things that I have not taken, that I have thrown out deliberately, because it would be. I mean, I had a lot of sections where people have gone overboard and spoken about him as Mozart.
yeah.
Okay, Mozart, but I have not kept that. I have not kept that simply because my idea exploring his music is not that one should think that he is Mozart. I have kept a line where Usha Uthup says that, you know, that it's the combination of that notes that made either Mozart or R.D. Burman. So that is my resume for the film. Gautam Rajadhyaksha, yes, but he sums it up so well, in the sense that he explains. He has a point. He has a logic to it. Why?
Yeah.
Okay.
The documentary brings also to just the music listener who doesn't understand. I
Yes.
mean, just like me.
Yeah.
I don't understand the science behind that music.
That's right.
But when the experts start talking and unraveling and
Yes,
unwrapping
yes.
R.D. Boss's,
Yes.
you know, the music of every melody he made, or you know, some of the songs,
Yeah,
and they say,
that's right.
"ये ऐसे किया था, ये ऐसे किया था,"
Yeah.
you become, अरे हाँ यार, ये तो ऐसे हुआ था.
Yes.
You
Correct.
start understanding it very clearly.
Yeah.
It's so transparent.
We had a number of people yesterday who came out and said that we've been listening to these songs, but there's a new way of looking at them now. Okay, now that is a magic, I think, that of this unmixing is all about. I've actually unmixed everything. I've laid them on different tracks and have just put it in front of you so that you can see it. Many of the things you would know, but even after knowing, it's a different experience.
Absolutely.
There are so many things that we already know, that we know everything.
Yeah.
And to some extent, I would consider now the success of the film lies there, because I have, in the process of editing, in the process of work going on after it's finished, till that point that it was screened here, I have shown it to people who do not know anything about Pancham, which is a different kind of a challenge, okay, to people who know everything about Pancham, to whom there cannot be anything that you can call a surprise.
Absolutely.
The amazing part is, the most reassuring part is that even those buffs who know everything about Pancham have come out saying that there were things that I didn't know about at all.
Wow.
Okay, there were things that has now made me look at the same thing in a different way. It's more experiential, and that was my idea, to create an experience of the thing. And then there are others totally uninitiated who has not known anything about Pancham, which came out so brilliantly in the Q&A yesterday, who has said that this man, I mean, it creates such an awe. No?
There was one word used by a fan.
Yes.
He's after 10th standard or 12th standard, he didn't go to college
Correct,
because
correct.
he went to University of Pancham.
See, now that's the thing. I show his versatility, कि किस तरह का काम उन्होंने किया है. Then I link that with Nitin Shankar, who says that you know, after 10th, many people take up science and art as different streams. Yes, I entered into college, and immediately after that, what follows is Shantanu Moitra, Vishal Bharadwaj, Shankar Ehsaan Loy, big names like this, talking about how their music is so strongly influenced by what RD has done. What they have, BD Jalaile, Kal Ho Na Ho. These are the best numbers. These are the best numbers.
और वो तभी मालूम पड़ रहा था कि अरे हाँ यार पंचम का influence.
Dang, 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 dang. They were explaining it. I also think it's their greatness. It's their greatness because when you're as big as Shankar Shanloy is today, or when you're as successful as Vishal Bharadwaj is today,
Modestly coming out. And
yes, it takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of character to come out and openly acknowledge a tribute to a maestro on whom you have grown and whose influences.
One small request.
Yeah.
When you come up with the DVD, एक extended version जरूर डालिएगा जो आपके सारे cuts हैं. They should definitely find their place in that DVD version.
Yeah, that's a good.
You have to.
Yes.
Nobody does this in India, and we think why don't they do it?
Yeah.
Because we have to see what you saw.
That's right.
You have just given us a censored version of Brahmanand Singh's Pancham Unmixed.
No, I've given you a structured version. Yes. Yes.
I'll call it a structured.
Yeah,
Censored
yes.
may be too harsh a word.
Yes.
Like, we have to see what Brahmanand Singh saw.
Sure.
All 17 hours, 19 hours, 20, 200 hours.
80 plus.
80 plus
Yes.
hours. But you have to give TFC a promise. Unedited version of Pancham that comes on DVD.
Yes.
Ramanji, thank you so much.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I would say that just summing it up and like what's the plan like. I think what I am looking forward to is someone big who knows business, who knows marketing, who knows all these things to take it up, because I don't know those things as well. I knew how to make a film. I've done my best to try and create a good film. It's being well received. That's an additional thing for me. Now, whoever takes it up, I am looking for houses, business houses, whoever takes it up, who takes it up not only as a business proposition. Business has to be there, but there has to be some emotional connect also, which means that when you're talking about screening, releasing, all these things, as against the standard 10 possibilities and 15 non-possibilities, you have to ignore the non-possibilities and you have to increase the possibilities. And that happens when you have an emotional connect, when you have a passion about something. And for example, if it could be screened here so well on a large screen,
It was almost 4.
on a large screen, household, I was told people were waiting outside for tickets. Okay, it was screened on a large screen. It was a nice experience. I don't see why in India or outside India it cannot have a theatrical release.
Absolutely.
Okay, so but at the same time, documentaries are not supposed to be released in theatre in India. Okay, but then there are no documentaries of this nature that has been made. So where is the reference point? You know what I mean to say is that whoever says that releasing in theatre doesn't look very possible. My question is, if there were 20 films like this that had been released and it didn't work at all, and then you are saying that no, it can't be released, I can understand, but there's no work of this nature, of this kind that has come out.
For documentaries, there was a discussion about a year ago on TFC. Okay, documentaries, short films कैसे दिखाए जाएं. So we were discussing various business models. Maybe you could club a documentary with a main feature and say, if you buy the main feature, that was just an example. You were just throwing ideas, nothing constructive. But if you buy a main feature, you get to see this documentary for $2 more or $10 more.
Yeah.
You know, we were talking about all those things. Unfortunately, we didn't take it forward because TFC can only do so much. But we forwarded these ideas to a lot of production houses, a lot of filmmakers, and they said, okay, this is an interesting thing, and when we start discussing this, at least this has come out in the open and we are discussing it. Right?
One very interesting thing that's happened with genre like short films is that if you have stars and if you have a big production house take it up, you have the closing film which has 10 odd stories. You have other films, other film called Das Kahaniyan, which again has taken totally unconnected 10 different stories and have released, and those are reaching the theatres. My gut feel is, without any prejudices, that it's my work, that a film like this, if it's released in theater, it has an audience.
Absolutely.
It has an audience, and it needs to be experienced in the dark auditorium, because then you are not, you're not tortured by the thing of going to the loo and getting yourself a cup of coffee and then sitting and missing out 3 things, because the film is connected. It's a well thought out film, so it needs an experience.
And doing that for the great maestro is an insult.
Yeah, that's
For
right.
me, it
That's
is an
true.
insult, because
No, that's
I am
true.
like-
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I will find it's like not standing up on
Yes,
the national
yes.
anthem. It's,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, that's
when
right.
You start doing this.
Something
you are
like
there
that,
to watch
yes.
RD was, and you are going to do all this stuff.
Absolutely.
It's unacceptable.
Absolutely.
Clinic is Brahmanand. Thank you so much.
Great. Thanks.